It's Friday, March 28th, and we're looking at the widespread severe risk as we head into the weekend. Plus, we're going to look at what's going on heading into next week. Storm Prediction Center, as we get right to it, we'll start with their map first here. They've hashed this area out here, pretty much from southern Michigan all the way down into the deep south, and you can see this is the bullseye. When you see these hashes, that means there is a significant risk for severe weather, and the primary threat will be strong damaging winds, hail, and there could be some tornadoes. And the Storm Prediction Center is actually saying a few of these could have some characteristics that could lead to long-lived tornadoes. I always hate to see those words being used together, long-lived, long-track tornadoes, anything like that. So that's something to be concerned about as we head into Sunday. You want to be weather aware through the weekend. So not just here on Sunday, but on Monday. Now, this is day 4. Their maps look a little bit different, but the idea is that there is going to continue to be that threat of some type of severe weather. The extent of how strong it will be at this point, I think, is not exactly clear, but we're looking from the northeast all the way down into the deep south, into even Florida with this cold front as it moves off to the east. And beyond this is a completely different storm. This is day 6. Notice the timestamp. We're looking at next Wednesday. The Storm Prediction Center already eyeing the potential for another severe weather event. So incredibly active as we wrap up March and head into April. Let's look at the culprits here, and we'll start off with Friday. We do have a chance for some severe weather also in some other areas for today, especially across the central U.S. here, across parts of Wisconsin, all the way back into Nebraska, and there can be some strong storms too across Texas. That expands. By the way, while we're on this map, let's flip over to tomorrow. This would be heading into Saturday here into parts of northeast Oklahoma, down into central Oklahoma, into Texas. There could be some severe weather, but the bullseye clearly right here into parts of Kansas. The idea that there could be some strong damaging winds, and your tornado outlook for Saturday, not 0, but it's not off the charts. You've certainly seen higher tornado days on Saturday across parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, into Missouri. If you go back to today, just so you know, there could be a few tornadoes across the Gulf Coast. And then as we move into day 3, of course, that combined outlook looking a little bit different. It doesn't narrow in on the tornado threat, but the idea that there is a significant risk of tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail increasing in that area right there that's hashed out by the Storm Prediction Center. All right, let's continue to push this ahead in time as we move through Friday. Low pressure moving through the Great Lakes. Another threat, too, and a problem is going to be the ice. From parts of northern Michigan into the UP, northern parts of Wisconsin could see some ice here too, into parts of the northeast, even parts of upstate New York, parts of the far northeast could see some snow. We'll look at that a little bit closer in a moment, and then that moves off to the east. Now we're developing low pressure here as a strong trough swings out of the Rockies. As this pushes east, we're also going to be bringing a lot of moisture north into this environment. So with that increasing moisture flow, and look at the dew points, starting off here in the 40s and 50s, some 60s really suppressed all the way down to Louisiana, but look how this moisture flow increases as we head into Saturday. Dew points climbing up into the 50s, mid-60s from Mississippi. Now we're pushing up into the 60s all the way into Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, as far west and north as Iowa, southern parts of Wisconsin. So now you're really unstable here, and you're pushing that cold front through this, almost like a wedge, if you will. So you could see how your thunderstorms would fire along this, and the problem will be out ahead of this. Do we see some kind of supercell development heading into Sunday evening and Sunday night? An active weekend for sure. We'll continue to push this out in time. The low is going to move further to the north and east again as we head through Saturday into Sunday. It's going to drag that cold front through. This is where your severe risk will be. Colder air pulling in behind this. There's going to be another ice threat across parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, the UP, up into Minnesota, some snow. Some of this could turn over to some heavy snow. So there's really two sides of this, depending on where you are. Now the front pushes to the east heading into Monday, and the severe threat pretty far to the north. We're pushing a lot of moisture and some unstable air pretty far into the northeast, and that is why our severe risk increases here too. Cold air behind this, some snow showers, and then we're looking at the next storm moving into the west that will start to set us up for another lee side low that develops on the east side of the Rockies. We're pulling moisture north, and I think, again, another severe threat heading into the middle part of next week. April is full of surprises, full of severe weather. It's not disappointing if, well, it is disappointing. I don't like severe weather. I'm not a big fan of it, but I guess what I'm trying to say, it's certainly not letting down on that severe history that it typically has. All right, let's look at the Northeast. We'll go really quickly here through the regions, and this will be a little bit of a closer look so you can see what's going on in your world. And by the way, I hope you're doing well on this Friday. If you're brand new, I hope you'll subscribe. I'm Travis. I used to be a chief meteorologist years ago, but we're doing the thing here on YouTube. Thanks for all of those of you who have joined the community and subscribed. I appreciate you very much. Let's continue to roll on here. Some showers here into Pennsylvania as we head into this afternoon and this evening. A few rumbles of thunder are possible with this too. And there's that ice here into parts of southern Ontario. Most of that into Canada. A lot of the lower part of Michigan here into southern New York being spared of the ice. But look out here, really up into northern New York. There could be some really heavy snow here into the Green and White Mountains too, as this slides off to the south and east with some ice mixing in as far south as I think you get really close here to the Massachusetts line here, and some of that ice trying to be modeled out here into western Mass. So that cold air trying to push to the south a little bit underneath that warm air. Or I should say, really, that's what it's trying to do. It'll just be undercutting it, if you will. And then notice how as we move into Sunday, that ice threat might be just a little bit further south than this first piece of energy that's moving through now. High temperatures today as we head into this afternoon. Fairly cold up near the U.S.-Canadian border, but look how warm it is toward the mid-Atlantic. Mid-60s to upper 70s, depending on where you are. Further to the south, let's look at the rain that's going across Louisiana. It could be heavy at times. Some strong storms possible here. A few isolated tornadoes. And then as we head into the afternoon, we're watching the rain showers increase here across the eastern seaboard. More thunderstorms as we head into the overnight across Louisiana. Look at that moisture increasing. You can see it moving north, really priming everything for our Sunday severe weather event. But it's going to bring some heavy rain here into the Mississippi Valley, right along the river into Arkansas, West Tennessee, West Kentucky, all of that moisture flowing north. And then more thunderstorms here. This isn't going to be a huge severe weather event, but there could be some storms. But now we're looking back here. This would be the extent. We're getting very close to the end of the NAM 3K model run, which I like to use for thunderstorms and to track them kind of in the mid-range. So come back. I'll be updating this later today. I'll have an update for you, and we'll kind of take a look at how things are shaping up. But right now, we're getting very close to the end of it. If I had to look at this and go, what's going on? We're clearly destabilizing things. Your energy's coming in from the west on Sunday, so it's starting to have a nasty look in my mind. High temperatures today, warm, mid-70s, very spring-like here, upper 70s to low 80s even for some areas as we deal with some really warm temperatures with numbers above average. All right, let's head further to the north. We are dealing with some rain, some thunderstorms through the morning hours possible here into parts of southern Michigan. This is all pushing off to the east slowly. Eventually, we'll start to see that rain move into parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and there comes the ice threat here in northern Wisconsin, parts of Michigan. If you go over to the Weather Service and if you look at the weather warnings right now, we've had multiple winter weather advisories, winter storm watches, and interestingly enough, up here into the UP of Michigan's Marquette, we've got ice storm warnings going where we could see some significant icing over the next couple of days. And listen, this is just one storm. We're going to get more as this boundary just sets up here and some pretty heavy snow piling up on the north side of this. It's very relentless here. There comes the moisture to the north ahead of your severe threat, and we're focusing on the Great Lakes now. Look at that ice into Wisconsin here. Some of that cold air trying to bleed south almost down to Milwaukee. Into Green Bay, we have a freezing rain threat all the way into the UP of Michigan. You know, we might actually get cold enough here into the UP that we actually end up seeing more of a transition to some snow. But that cold air trying to hint that it's going to move south towards places like Gaylord, Traverse City. Maybe we end up with some ice here, but it doesn't move very far to the south. So Lansing, Detroit, we're all rain into this region with some ice possible as far west and south, maybe down to Madison here as that cold air gets stubborn and sets in place. And now we're cold enough for all snow here into parts of Wisconsin and the Arrowhead of Minnesota. So Duluth, we could get some heavy snow out of this. Temperatures, look at these numbers. I want to show you how this cold air is trying to ooze to the south, if you will. You can see it across Wisconsin as we head into the overnight, into Saturday. Look at this right there. See it? It's slowly pushing in as that dense cold air undercuts that warm air at the surface. So that's why that ice threat is starting to push a little bit farther to the south. And look at the contrast between the cold and warm air. It's easy to see our instigator for our severe weather as we head through the day on Sunday into Sunday night into Monday, and that pushes off to the east. Temperatures warm up here along the east coast out ahead of that severe weather threat on Monday. All right, back to the south. We'll head into Texas, the central U.S., the southern plains here. We've got that severe weather today, some heavy rain across Texas. It could cause some flooding. Even into Louisiana, there could be some strong thunderstorms, some hail, some damaging winds, maybe even some tornadoes. And we also have threat of some storms as we head into Saturday, especially across parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, here into Missouri, and into Arkansas eventually. And these could get strong with a few isolated tornadoes possible. Again, this is not the big system that's going to be moving in as we move into Sunday. And a lot of that threat looks a little bit further to the east. And you can see on the future radar picking up on some of those storms through Illinois. And they could start as early, maybe as Sunday morning here across Missouri, then pushing east. And then we could see things start to really fire up ahead of our major severe event that starts to kick off heading into the day Sunday. And again, this is the primary threat area. Temperatures across this part of the country, warm today. I mean, this is wild. I don't know if you enjoy this or I'm sorry. I mean, we're talking about upper 80s, close to 90 from West Kansas into Nebraska. So some really warm temperatures. These are official touched forecast numbers. We're pushing 90 right here in the northeast corner of Nebraska. So very, very warm temperatures. Further to the north, we're looking at the northern plains up into the Dakotas. Some heavy snow possible as this system swings through. Your severe weather threat off to your east. And the problem here would be the cold air that's in place and wintry precipitation. Most of that to the east, but we could get some decent snow ahead of the next storm heading into Tuesday and Wednesday. That could bring some heavy snow into parts of Minnesota, and then that pushes off to the east fairly quickly. If you're looking for spring temperatures, unfortunately, you're not going to feel it up here along the U.S.-Canadian border, North Dakota into Minnesota. This is where the cold air is. South of our front, we are baking in the upper 80s, close to 90 in some areas. And across the far southwest, some snow showers and rain showers into parts of Colorado as we head into the weekend. And then across Southern California, maybe, look at this, maybe a few showers trying to sneak in here as we head into Saturday, Sunday, or I should say Sunday into Monday. And then it looks like some heavy precipitation moving back into Northern California, the Sierra, and some of that pushing into the Wasatch, also into Colorado as we head into Tuesday. That's the next system that moves into the plains that could bring our severe weather. Temperatures across the southwest this afternoon. A little bit cooler, but still nice and warm. It's interesting. We're going to be warmer across parts of Nebraska than we will be in Phoenix today. Across the Pacific Northwest, rain and snow continues here on this Friday. And then here comes the next storm wrapping up off the coast, pushing all of that moisture ashore. And here's a look at your temperatures across the Pacific Northwest. I tried to make it fast. I tried to make it concise. If you're late to the video and you're watching it during the live stream, you can always back it up and check it out from the beginning. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another update this evening. I'll see you next time, and hope you'll come back. Have a great Friday.